matter to anybody, but it does have fantasy implications. I did want to talk real quick about the Kansas City-Houston game fantasy implications. DeAndre Hopkins is likely going to be paired up with Marcus Peters, who had an excellent year last year. He did okay last week against San Diego, even better once Keenan Allen went down. I still think there is under no circumstance are you benching DeAndre Hopkins. You're playing him anyway. He's going to have a jump ball opportunity over a much smaller Marcus Peters. I think Hopkins finds his way into the end zone.
No,
I think
there's no reason to bench DeAndre Hopkins. Chances are you took him in the first 3 rounds. We're not there yet. You don't need to overthink it. You play your stars. You play your studs every week. And I'm a firm believer in playing. I mean, if you took this guy in the first 4 rounds, you're going to play him every week, other than if he's injured or has a bye. That's the way I look at it. He's your stud.
I don't. You're not playing anybody on a bye week unless you're in the one league I just joined where somebody played a suspended player.
Well, that's my point. Unless they're on a bye week or they're injured, you play them.
Somebody else also started a retired player. You heard me correct. Somebody started Marshawn Lynch last week.
He shouldn't be allowed in the league.
He should. Not my league. I was invited. I joined. If I don't win it, I'll probably quit playing fantasy football. However,
you shouldn't. That's not even competitive. The guy doesn't even know what he's doing. It's not even competitive.
It's kind of comical, though. But there's a guy that I do love in this Houston game, and that's Lamar Miller. I think that Melvin Gordon and Danny Woodhead were really successful against Kansas City Chiefs last week, so I like Lamar Miller in daily fantasy plays especially. He's going to be owned, pretty widely owned throughout, but just based on the success that Melvin Gordon and Danny Woodhead had last week against Kansas City, I like Lamar Miller quite a bit in this one. On the other side of the ball, Spencer Ware is questionable. That's a tough call. Jamal Charles looks like he's out again. Spencer Ware should be the play. Alex Smith might have some trouble on the road in Houston, although he looked really, really good in that playoff game last year. I still think that Alex Smith is worthy of a start if you have no better choice, and so is Jeremy Maclin. But let's move on to Tennessee and Detroit. Titans.
Both very good. Both teams have pretty damn good defenses, though. Something to keep in mind.
Yeah, they sure do. Tennessee at Detroit. This game is a lot of points. Tennessee on the road is a 6-point underdog.
Did you have to bring this game up? Who cares?
It's part of the system. I got to bring it up. I like the start of. I like Marcus Mariota this week. If you're like me and you've got him as your bridge, he's gapping the time until Tom Brady comes off suspension for me in 2 leagues. I like Mariota to throw the ball quite a bit. Andrew Luck had a lot of success throwing the ball against Detroit. The tight ends got involved. Mariota's favorite target is Delaney Walker. Hopefully you'll see a little bit of that. I like Tajay Sharp on a fantasy perspective this week too. But I don't know that Tennessee's going to beat the Detroit Lions. They're actually a pretty good football team. There's a lot more talent on that field than suspected, and they're doing a lot of things with what they have. Guys like Theo Riddick is an excellent fantasy start, especially in PPR leagues. He's a lot of catches. He's getting 6 to 10 targets through the air in a game. He's going to get some carries as well. They like him around the goal line. I love Theo Riddick. I loved him last week, and he paid off for me. I think Detroit actually wins this game by 10 points.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you like him to cover the 6 that I'm looking at here?
I do. I have him at 6 as well. I think Detroit wins this game. I think this might be one of the games, if it wasn't so many points, this is one of the games I'd like to play. But I would, believe it or not, lump this into a very special teaser I have lined up for you. I'm no Pepper Jack the Big Cheese because he hit all his tease plays last week. I'm not him, and we couldn't get him to step away from his business responsibilities this weekend to shed some light on those picks for us, but he will be shortly once some things clear up for him. But I like Detroit minus the 6.
I do too. We're in agreement on that because I'm going with the fact that I don't think Tennessee's very good. I still don't think they're very good until they prove me otherwise. I think they're a bad team still. So I'm going to go with the Lions to win this and cover the 6 as well.
Very good, very good. Moving through and away from that game, because aside from what we just talked about, it's atrocious. The 1 o'clock game that I think that I want to tie in a teaser together with that Detroit game. If you can tease Detroit down with the 6 down to 0 and let Detroit just as a pick 'em win that game outright. There's another team out there that's laying 6.5. That last week we missed an opportunity with the New England Patriots. That opportunity passed us by, and we did discuss anytime you give Bill Belichick 7.5 points in a spread, he is going to win a football game, for God's sakes. Yeah, the New England Patriots. They hadn't been a 7.5-point underdog in 15 years.
Not to mention what we all should have thought of, too, is how much time, being it was an opening week game, how much time he had to prepare for them.
You're right. He knew, and he being Bill Belichick, he knew for a long time that Tom Brady is not going to be available week 1. This was all part of the game plan. Again, you got him at 6.5 at home as a favorite over the Miami Dolphins, who, despite what they showed last week in Seattle, who jury's out. That could be anything. Despite what Miami showed, I don't think that's a good football team. I don't think it's a good defense, but they looked very good against Seattle. Seattle helped them look good, though. I think if you tease the New England Patriots down to a half point, they just got to win. I like New England to win at home against Miami, although division games, especially Miami traveling up there, that seems to be this Achilles heel for the Patriots. I want to say they actually beat them in New England last year.
I think so. I like the New England Patriots to win this game as well, but I think they're going to have a tougher time than most people think. I don't think they'll cover the touchdown.
No, I don't either. But I do think they win the game. So that's why I like.
Too. I think they pull it out, but I think Miami's going to give them. I think Miami's going to play them tough. I think they're going to give them fits. And this is coming from a guy who hates the Dolphins. I hate everything about the Miami Dolphins. I wish they just blow up. But at the end of the day, I mean, I do think they have improved a little bit. I did watch a little bit of their game against Seattle. They went across the country. I mean, I think Seattle is a good football team, and they went there and they played them pretty tough. And if Kenny Stills can catch a ball, cannot drop, maybe, just maybe, they pull that one off, and that's an impressive victory if that's the case.
That's a different ball game. That's a 6-point change if he catches that ball. So does he get another chance this week? Probably. I just think that New England just game plans so exceptionally well, and then it's, for me, Tom Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo, it's all about Bill Belichick. It just doesn't change with that guy at the helm. I like that teaser right there. That's my teaser special of the week. I hit our last one. I'm going to hit this one as well. It's Detroit at 0. It's a straight pick 'em, and you got to tease them with the New England Patriots minus a half point. That's a good one that plays. I'd put that at a $100 play. On to another 1 o'clock game, my man. Sticking to the AFC North theme of blue-collar, blue-blooded, black and blue beat downs. The Baltimore Ravens travel to their former hometown to play the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, might I add, if you stumble across this game, you know how to hit the channel up button.
Keep going.
Keep going. Don't watch this game. I don't even think Browns fans. I've talked to people around here. I think they're already done. I don't think they're even going to bother with this game. Baltimore Ravens are going to beat them down. The Browns are terrible. I don't even like them to cover. I don't care if they're at home. They're a terrible football team. The Ravens are going to stop them.
Do you think so?
Yes, I do. They're a terrible football team. I can't make an argument for the Browns. I just do. I believe what my eyes tell me, and they're just bad. I don't care. I know the division. They're at home. Blah 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 blah. I know all that. Go with the better football team, and that's clearly the Baltimore Ravens. The Cleveland Browns suck. That's the end of the story.
I'm with you. I like Baltimore minus the 6. I made the mistake last week of thinking that Cleveland had an opportunity to show somebody up in Philadelphia and show that opening week 1 preparation that Hugh Jackson could have put together a game plan to at least keep them competitive in that game, and he didn't. And I think a lot of that, I'm telling you, Hugh Jackson's a good football coach. A lot of that has to do with he has no talent on that field.
No doubt. I mean, I don't care who you are. You could resurrect the great Paul Brown out of his grave. It's not going to matter. This team's terrible. You have nothing to work. NFL is a players' league. You have to have the personnel around you. It's just
Isaiah Crowell is a pretty good running back. I do like Isaiah Crowell. I think that Terrell Pryor is going to have a decent year. He was a bold prediction at the beginning of the season. He's going to have a decent year.
I think there could be an argument to be made they're better off with Josh McCown. I think they might have gone 0-16 with RG3. They might win 2 games with McCown, but I don't think it'll be this Sunday.
You're right. McCown's a better quarterback, and that's what has me wondering what may or may not go on in this game. I think that McCown might be worth an extra touchdown. Just understanding the systems, understanding the defenses, and he's just more experienced. RG3 is terrible. He's not a good quarterback. He's not even deserving of a cool nickname like RG3.
No, when he was coming, he had that one good year in Washington where he really turned some heads. But other than that, I mean, to talk about falling from grace, I don't think I've ever.
Legs.
I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like it.
That's something that doesn't get brought up enough when they talk about his Rookie of the Year campaign. RG3 turned heads with his legs. He made plays with his legs, and that kid is not built to play like Cam Newton. He may have some equal athleticism, but he doesn't have the size and the stature to take that kind of thumping and beating that Newton does. So his game is mobility. He's not going to be able to do it in the NFL. He makes this joke of, this is my mom texting me to slide. Dude, the joke's over. Your career's done. You can't play this position the way you want to play it and be successful. He's not good enough of a pocket
No, he's done. This was his last opportunity. He can't stay on the field. No, he's done. It's over for him.
So those Cleveland Browns fans who wanted them to draft him years ago and were disappointed that they didn't, now you got to look at him. He's not a good NFL quarterback. He can't play his game on the field. So, done. End of story. I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens minus the 6.
Mike Shanahan knows a little something about something normally.
Yeah, he does.
So, I'd say he knows a little bit more than you, Daniel Snyder.
He sure does. He's there. So, Daniel Snyder, you mentioned it. I'll bring it up. The Washington Redskins are a 3-point favorite at home against the longtime division rival Dallas Cowboys. This is iffy. I don't like anybody starting quarterback. Sorry. Dak Prescott, I think he's very average. He's a young guy. He's not ready yet. Talk about being forced into a system, forced into a position. Adequate, maybe. Serviceable, maybe. Good quarterback, no. Weapons, yeah, he's got weapons. He's got some guys to throw to. Terrence Williams will never not run out of bounds ever again. He'll do that right.
Well, Dak, it's unfair to say anything bad about Dak Prescott yet. He's thrown in the fire as a rookie. Kid's got some learning to do. He could be very good someday. He has some tools. But he's just not – he's not going to be ready. He's not going to be ready just yet. I like the Washington Redskins to win this game and bounce back at home.
I do too.
For the reason you just illustrated, rookie quarterback on the road. I like the Redskins to win this game and cover.
I do too. I don't know about the cover, and again, it's the early season fear of division matchups. But I think Washington does win the game, and I'm going to go ahead and say they win it by 5 points. Believe that or not, let's say 21-16.
Well, that would be covering because I have it at 4.
You do? Okay, I got it at 3. I'm going to think they do. I'm going to go Redskins take it. Just because Dallas, they have so much to show yet. Let's see what the ground game does because D'Angelo Williams ran exceptionally well against that Redskins defense the other night. Dallas's offensive line is probably better than the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Time to rise and shine, Zeke. You got the best offensive line in football, kid.
It's time for to get loose.
Pluck them ridiculous eyebrows and get out there and run for some touchdowns.
Trim caterpillars. He might, though, and that might be their saving grace for the Dallas Cowboys is just to get the ball, establish a run game, and see if that does open up the Dez Bryants of the world. Dez has got to get involved in that offense. Dez had 1 catch for 8 yards last week. You can't beat Dez Bryant and have 1 catch for 8 yards anywhere, anytime. He's way too
No, and if you've noticed, I remember 2 years ago there was a very, very much a hot topic of is Dez the best in the league. Those topics, that has completely gone away. He's not even. I don't even think he's not even in that top discussion anymore. He's not. I don't even think he's top 5 anymore.
I'm taking Antonio Brown and Adrian Green as 1A and 1B.
I like Mr. Blonde-haired Beckham too. That guy can play.
Is probably 1C. Yeah.
Actually,
Antonio Brown 1, Beckham and AJ Green are your close plays. Julio Jones is an excellent.
Julio, yeah, you can't leave out Mr. Julio.
Yeah, he is an animal, an excellent football player. You've got some young emerging players too. So moving on from the Dallas Washington game to another game who I think has an underrated wide receiver that's pretty damn good is Kelvin Benjamin. San Francisco traveling across East Coast to the Tropical Storm Julia soaked North Carolina. The Panthers coming off a physical beating on the road in Denver. Physical beating. They got knocked around pretty good. They're now a 13.5-point favorite over the 49ers.
I love it. I think they're gonna beat the fucking snot out of the 49ers. 49ers are not a good football team. They just beat another terrible football team last Monday night. Carolina's had 10 days to rest. They'll be ready to go. They're gonna be licking their wounds coming off their first loss. They're gonna be excited. They're gonna be back home in front of their fans. San Francisco's going all the way across the country. They're going to lay waste to them. I like Carolina. Big.
Yeah, you like them against that big number.
I'm going to take it. I'd roll the dice. I'd say they're going to win by at least 2 touchdowns.
Well, I have it at 13.5. I don't know what you're looking at it as. But that's 2 touchdowns all day and all night. I do think Carolina's going to have some vengeance in mind. Don't be surprised if San Francisco tries to do exactly what Denver did, keep the ball out of Cam's hands, run the ball as often as possible. Sean Drone and Carlos Hyde ran really well against a very good defensive line